My next guest, Donna, became a widow and a single mother in 2003 when her husband, Conrad, passed away. Since then, Donna has been in isolation, living only for her children and her career. Now, 14 years later, she's ready to find love again.
Conrad and I were very good together. I have been living in isolation since my husband passed in 2003. I thought he was really going to beat cancer. When he passed, I was devastated. I wanted to die, but the love for my sons kept me alive. I packed up and moved to a city where I knew no one. I shut out everyone. I was always the life of the party. I've had no social contact for weeks at a time. In that dark hole of isolation at home, I just listened to music. I want to live again, I want to love again, but I just don't know how to move past where I am. How does one move past a pain that is so deep? The grief is something I never want to go through again.
Well, a really hard challenge, and Donna is joining me along with our very good friend, Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall, Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer. So welcome to both of you. So, Donna, 14 years, you've really withdrawn. What's keeping you from reaching out and living the other parts of your life?
Dr. Phil, I'm emotionally paralyzed. Other than my job as a counselor and my sons, socializing is a constant reminder of the life I lived with my husband and the love that we once shared.
You've been afraid to do this again. Why now?
I'm almost 60 years old, and I want the next chapter of my life to be better than it has been before. But I'm very afraid of falling in love with someone and that someone pass. Yeah. To handle that level of grief and pain, Dr. Phil, I don't want to do that again.
What's the advice here?
Donna, it's so clear that you love Conrad so very much and that you are still really in the grips of grief in losing him.
But it also affects your physical health, right?
Social isolation has been deemed as serious a health risk as smoking and obesity, and it can be a sign of depression and mental illness. So studies have shown us that people who are older and isolated have a higher risk of dying from breast cancer, from high blood pressure, from heart disease, and from other chronic illnesses.
And realize that how long you grieve somebody does not reflect how much you loved them.
In a recent study for about 8 years, individuals were followed. What they found was the people who had strong social networks had a 50% lower risk of death than those who were socially isolated. Now, comparably, that would be like the positive health benefit of quitting smoking. I don't want to underscore how difficult it is once you've gotten into this social isolation spiral to get out of it. And we know and understand that getting involved and kind of getting a social network back up again can be challenging as we age. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but just being out and not socially isolated is really important.
You got to tell us about your role model for this.
It's my dad. He got remarried 2 days before his 90th birthday. A few months into dating, he calls my husband and says, you know, we're talking about getting married. My husband said, well, Pop, you all have only been known each other for a few months. Don't you think you should wait? My father said, I'm 89 years old. Exactly what would I be waiting for? So, what exactly would you be waiting for?
What can she do right now to change her situation?
The first stop I would do on the journey would be to stop at my doctor. And your doctor would have an opportunity to screen you for depression, but other health conditions. The second is you're a counselor. So that means you know the value of talking to a professional to get some of the feelings out, express some of this fear, and to help you move past some of the grief. Last but not least, some of them are little steps. Things like becoming more involved in the social community at your house of worship, or reaching out to the family and friends on a more regular basis that you've kind of isolated yourself from, that I'm sure are really ready to be back in touch.
So where can people in a similar situation get some more information on this?
So we have more information on, this time, getold.com, where you can join the Get Old community on Facebook. And there are stories, there are tips and ideas about how to break out of your shell and break these cycles of social isolation and get connected and stay connected.
All right, don't think old, just go to getold.com.
Okay.
But really, give yourself permission. I mean, that's where it starts. You got to give yourself permission, and don't think you're betraying a memory. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Freda Lewis-Hall.